Welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame with your hosts, Mike Sautter and Jacob Padilla.
Everyone, welcome into another episode of Nebraska Preps Postgame, where we break down what happened in high school football from the previous week. Handful of pretty good games, I would say, ones that we were anticipating and looking forward to, and Class A at least, and Class B had a couple too. So
yeah, and a couple surprising results. In general, there's a lot of chalk, but there are a few in here, in A and B in particular that
it shook things up a little bit. And as far as our coaches poll, it really moved things around. There's a new number one in B.
You want to start with B or you want to start with A?
Start with A. Just get it out of the way.
Yeah, go in order.
Millard South obviously didn't play.
We put out a lot of content addressing that situation. Go check out this very feed if you're a podcast subscriber. Ravi and Austin discussed it. Spent a good chunk of time just kind of going through all the different parts of it. Mike, your weekly spots on the Hurrdat Sports Live radio show, you've addressed it plenty. Yeah. So
the last 4 weeks, I feel like. And
I'll just say that I very much on the same page with what you said, what Austin and Ravi said. So just go listen to all that. We don't need to rehash it all here. Everybody's heard it at this point. So the only thing about there is right now the North Platte is planning make the trip.
North Platte, as far as we're recording this on Monday, as far as last night Sunday, they are planning to play at 4:30 on Thursday, so they can get back to North Platte, I think. And move the game time up a little bit. Yeah. And planning on playing as far as, I think we'd know by now if they were.
Yeah. All right. So, after that, then things get a little crazy. A little crazy.
Gets a little crazy.
We have a new number. We'll discuss why in a second, but new number 2, Creighton Prep up there, 7-0, 37-24 win over Fremont. And it was 37-10 after 3 quarters. Then Fremont got a couple of scores in the fourth quarter, make it a little closer than the score indicated.
A little bit of a payback game for Prep.
Last year,
losing to Fremont last year. So
Angelo Walker, I'm sure, remember that game. 21 carries, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I think key here is efficient game out of Jack Lammers. 11 of 14 for 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did have 1 pick, but
that's what they need him to be. They just need him to be just solid. Right?
Don't need him to throw for 300 yards, but has to take advantage of the opportunities that are there just to keep teams honest. And also, Tyler Miles had a fumble recovery return for a touchdown, so got a defensive score as well.
Their defense has just been awesome. We talked about last week. Their defense has been amazing, and they are just so disciplined on defense, which will be kind of interesting for this week.
Yeah, Fremont, they had 29 rushing yards on 1.7 a carry.
Yeah.
Will Schleicher was at quarterback. Fremont didn't have Boa Boy. 19 of 35 for 265 yards and 3 touchdowns. So they did find some success through the air, but not enough to keep it close. So we'll talk about what Preps got coming up next. But first, number 3, back up to number 3, Omaha Westside. It's 58-17 at number 2, Elkhorn South. So
I think got a hand real fast.
Well, you could tell that Westside, that loss really, I think, lit a fire. And very, very similar to that North Platte loss a couple of years ago.
It has refocused them for sure.
Because they were locked in from the start, and Elkhorn South was not ready. They had 2 bad snaps early in the game, both on offense and then special teams, that allowed Westside to just punch it right back in, go up 28-0 in the first quarter. Yeah, you could tell that Elkhorn South just was not quite ready for what Westside was bringing to them. So, that got out of hand early. I said it was 28-0 first quarter, right?
If Elkhorn South didn't kick a field goal in the half, it would have been a
first half
running clock. To start the second half. It got there, but wow.
Yeah, Braylon Warren, 15 of 18 for 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. Maybe the best pass of the game. Bryson Williams, 40-yard touchdown throw. Westside getting tricky there.
It was a pitch to Bryce Williams, and then he chucked it to Eli Johnson, and he was wide open.
Yeah. Putting a little something on tape, I guess. But TayTay Jenkins, 23 of 23 carries for 134 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had a 98-yard kickoff return.
Yeah, at the end of the game, which I was like, I don't know if I would have
needed that, but
yeah.
But you were in great position for his first touchdown there.
Yeah.
He's flexing on it in front of your camera.
I talked to him after. I go, I heard what you said. I think it was something to the effect of, do you like that mic? And I was like, all right.
Yeah. Well, I was watching on the stream of the year view, so I saw him run right next to you. And
I was going to run into
you
for a second. And,
so you got some TV time too, but it was really impressive performance from Westside. Mentioned Eli Johnson, that 40-yard touchdown, 6 catches, 88 yards in that score. Also had a pick on defense. Bryson also had a 26-yard pick 6 on defense and had a safety. And then 5 tackles plus the touchdown pass. So just an all-around, Westside very much looking back to what we thought they were before.
Defensively, they were great too. I mean, not only just the pick 6s, the interceptions, but holding Sutko down a little bit. He had one big run, right?
And he is special when you can get him in space. The problem is you can't get him in space if you can't even properly snap the ball,
right? And
then keep the defenders out of the backfield.
He still had a nice. I mean, from a yardage standpoint, he had a nice game, but they really kind of bottled him up.
He picked his yards, but again, you had 17 points, and a lot of that wasn't until the game was already over there. So it wasn't super impactful. The defense really bowed up and prevented him from getting in the end zone early when the game mattered. But just watching TayTay Jenkins, a couple of those runs he had, just his ability. He kind of juked one defender, put him in the dirt on one of those runs. That was sick.
You can make a case now. Okay, there's a caveat here. You can make a case that TayTay Jenkins is the best high school football player in Class A. Not the best college prospect. Yeah. There's a difference.
Oh, yeah. But
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, Jenkins, Sutko, Darian Jones, those
all the Millard South guys.
Yeah, and that's going to be the problem there. Yeah,
Amarion, Jet, Isaac, they're great.
That's probably you're talking player of the year in Class A. It's probably
one of those
that group right there, and he is the only one that's not a senior.
I want to be very clear. I did not call him I said he's in the conversation. Oh, yeah. You can make a case for him. There is a difference between me saying he is and he's in the conversation. I'm stating it very clearly. Let's not say Mike Sautter said that. That's not what I said. So, okay. No. I did. I said could make a case. Yeah. And in the conversation,
I agree with you. Like I said, we've got a special group of players at the top here, particularly in Class A, and we'll get to some of the others. But and just watching, he's so much fun to watch. Yeah. Again, just the combination of explosiveness, the acceleration, and then the shiftiness once you get to the second level to turn these into some big runs. Really impressive. Just too bad that he's 5'7". Yeah. But.
Mo Purify had a nice game too. 6 catches. He's kind of getting going a little bit. So, they need it.
Yeah, they need all their guys firing. Mm-hmm. That sets up a huge rivalry. Westside and Prep. This is, obviously you go into it. We'll see what happens, especially with what Westside just did to Elkhorn South, who was number 2 and was really impressive to start the season, but. It's been a while since the Prep Westside rivalry was a competitive one.
It's been but a couple years ago they beat 5. 6.
That's
it's been a bit.
But before any of these kids were in school.
Yeah, it's been a while, and I believe it was a playoff. No, they beat Millard North. This is a game I'm thinking of Prep, but it's been a while since Prep's beat Westside, and now Prep's the favorite.
2 versus 3, ranked higher.
Prep's the favorite in this game for the first time in a while. So,
although at Westside that
right. I know if you're doing a line, I'm just talking about from where
they are in the standings and the rankings. Yeah. This is the best Preps looked in quite a bit, and obviously we know how talented Westside is. So got a chance to be a really fun one. We'll have people there, correct?
Yeah, we'll have people there.
Okay, I guess you're still figuring out where you're going to go, and we'll figure out.
We'll have people. We have people. Yeah. We have people at a lot of places.
There's a lot going on Friday, as we'll discuss as we go through this.
We got people, JP. We got people.
We got a lot of people at a lot of football games on Thursday and Friday.
And there are a lot of really good ones.
There's a lot.
All right. Let's move on here. So, again, we'll talk about that next week. We'll have people there covering it. I think the game of the week there in Class A, 2 versus 3. Obviously, we got another big one on Thursday, too, but we'll discuss that momentarily. Papio South at 5, 72-0 against Omaha South. And, obviously, we talked about competitive balance and games that, why we – South is in a tough spot. And – so 72-0. Just kind of listen to this. Papio South completed 9 passes. 4 of them were touchdowns. They ran the ball 10 times. 4 of them were touchdowns. They had a punt return for a touchdown and a kickoff return by a touchdown, all by different people. 10 touchdowns by 10 different people. That's where we're at here, and that's why the schedule change is going into effect.
I think it's
try to limit these games. Yeah, and you ultimately you don't necessarily want. There are things like unintended consequences. That's why the NSA is maybe slow to act on some of this stuff. They've got to work through all aspects of changes for scheduling here. You don't necessarily want to separate, turn those classes into a separate class where if you feel like you're getting stuck there. But at this point, there's no reason to be playing.
We don't need any more classes in football.
Yes.
We don't need any more. We're already adding a third 8-man next year. We're good. We don't need 9 classes of football in the state. It just so happens that this scheduling cycle, Millard South raised their level, and the teams that are on their schedule have fallen down from where they traditionally maybe are. So that just changes things, right? That's kind of what it is. Also, to that note about slow to act, well, they tried to act. There were at least 3, I think 4 is the number of proposals that were at district meetings for when people say the NSA, I think they're referring to the people who actually work in the building. Yeah. That's not how this works. Yeah. So the NSAA, the actual membership that writes proposals and does all those things,
they don't pass
those district meetings were in January. They tried at least. I was sat in a district meeting for hours. They tried about at least 3 different proposals to get them through. They didn't pass district meetings, which then that means they can't even go to the class caucus. Then they can't even go to the board. There's all these steps. They did try, in January, to do something about the schedule changes. It didn't pass. Yeah. So
and it's not necessarily just because people are slow to people are sitting on their hands. They're intentionally it's again. There's so many factors that you have to consider with so many different schools, so many different communities involved in this.
And you have a
rule change may fix one problem and cause another, right? And that's where they have to want to avoid. Yes,
you have to be careful with that stuff. You also need to be another thing. There has been a competitive balance committee that has met once a month for a year. Yeah. So they've been working on stuff.
Yeah. There's no simple fix.
Yes. That's just and they've been talking through this stuff. It isn't why haven't they? No, they're not sitting on their hands. They're actually have been doing stuff. Yeah. Anyway.
So another game like that, North 56, South Sioux City 0. Jaron Cannon 5 carries, 2 touchdowns. Yeah. 4 receiving touchdowns by 4 different receivers, a punt return and a fumble return touchdown. So again, more of the same, just a lot of kind of a complete mismatch there. Mm-hmm. Another light day for Norris guys who they've had a few weeks like that.
Yeah, they need Good for them to kind of get some confidence and get healthy and just kind of get through stuff.
To build up to this week because they got a big one.
Huge game.
At 7 is Omaha Central with a 34-17 win over Papillion-La Vista. It was
a nice win.
It was 14-7 Central early in the third quarter, and then they went on a 23 run to take control before Papillion-La Vista got a late touchdown. Fortunately, both teams finished with backup quarterbacks. Oh. Hopefully, the injuries aren't too serious there. But great. Yeah. And Papio had 3 takeaways on defense to keep that interesting, but Central got it done. I think Torrey Pittman had some big plays in that one to help them get the win. And then Yasir Grigsby, again, having to they've experimented with like some Wildcat quarterback stuff with him. Exactly.
Yeah.
So probably a good thing that they got him some experience there. But, so 34-17 for Central. They get Millard North on Friday.
It could be a good game, too.
And then Bellevue West at 8, 44-7 against Lincoln Southwest. Will Anderson finally threw
an incompletion.
Still went 17-25 for 282 yards, 3 touchdowns. Bryce Johnson Jr., 6 catches, 113 yards, and a score. Jermaine Green, 4 catches, 73 yards and score, so got their 2 main guys going. DeMarcus Robinson, 8 carries for 112 yards and a touchdown in the backfield.
So they've been kind of like multiple running backs at different places of the season, which is neat.
I don't know if anybody's carried the ball more than 15 times a game this season from any of their backs.
They have some different guys. Man.
Yeah, Tristan Jerez James is playing at multiple spots. Like he had 6 carries, 29 yards and a score. He had an 11-yard receiving touchdown, 5 tackles on defense. And then Adrian Wilson had a great game on defense as well. 4 tackles, a pick, and a fumble recovery. 2 takeaways for him. Bellevue West, they've been playing well, and now they got the big one. It's Bellevue West and North on Thursday.
Yeah, I've said it all year, though. Like their record they're way better than their record. They're a team that
4-3.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're better than their record. They just lost a game they should have won. Frankly, week 1 against Central, they should have won that game. Yeah. Westside, they had a chance to beat them. They're scary. That's a team that I be a little scared of. I don't know if they can stop the run as much. So we're about to find out, I guess, on Thursday if Bellevue West can stop the run, particularly Jerron Cannon and Omaha North.
So we have 3 ranked-on-ranked matchups in Class A this week. The 2 we mentioned, Westside and Prep, and then the one North and Bellevue West. And the third one is Columbus and Kearney. And Columbus at number 9 now after beating previous number 9 Lincoln East 28-21 in overtime. It was 21-10 Lincoln East early in the fourth quarter. And Columbus got a touchdown. Michael Wojcicki, I'm not quite sure how to say the last name. I'll attempt there. And a 2-point conversion to make it a 3-point game. Evan Daniels caught that. And then back and forth, got a stop. The ball went back and forth, and then Columbus got the ball back, marched down the field, and kicked a 21-yard field goal. Alexander Ogle, less than a minute to play to send it to overtime. And Wojcicki scored first, and Columbus got a stop in overtime to win the game there. So great win for Columbus, who is now 6-1 on the season, climbed up to number 9. And Kearney broke into the top 10 again. They were receiving votes, and they beat Millard North 31-28.
Special teams matter, boys and girls. Special teams.
Game-winning field. It was 21-0 Kearney. Then Millard North responded with a 20-0 run and then failed extra point.
Oh, no, it was – I'm not even talking about that. It was – when I say that, I mean there were 4 block punts. They blocked, 3 offensive series. Kearney blocked 4 punts.
Jeez. And then we know early in the season –
4 series, 4 block punts.
Jeez. I totally missed that part.
Yeah.
I just know they kicked a game-winning field goal. Yeah. So, again, 21-0 start Kearney, 20-0 Millard North run. They ended up tying it 28-all after the heading into the fourth. And then the only points in the fourth quarter were a 21-yard field goal from Carter Symington with 3 and change to play.
Imagine if Millard North didn't get 4 punts blocked. They probably wouldn't have been that close of a game, but that matters.
And we know that's been a problem for them all season.
Yeah.
It's cost them in some big spots. John Floral, 11 carries, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Also completed a 47-yard pass to Trey Norman. Adric Techmeyer had three carries for 59 yards and a touchdown. And they only completed 2 passes. The 47-yard from Floral to Norman, and Zach Atchison threw a 9-yard touchdown to Cole Larson. So two completions in the game, got the win. Isaiah Traylor had another big game, 17 for 103 and a touchdown. But again, Millard North, 3 turnovers plus the special teams issues there cost them. So
yeah, there is an outside chance that if Millard North can finish with 3 wins, that they could sneak into the playoffs.
2-5 right now. That's
could be 3-6 or whatever. Yeah, I mean, there is an outside chance that they could sneak in.
A lot of teams still alive here. There's still some work to be done, especially with some of the shakeups.
There's a lot. And like Norfolk's in that conversation, there's a lot of people there's a lot still to be played in this last 2 weeks here.
So like I said, 3 top 10 matchups in Class A.
Also, Millard North has Central and then Columbus in the year, so they'd have to maybe win both those or one of those.
Tough games there.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Class B.
Yeah.
We have a
Big
new number
there.
1. Yeah. Waverly is up to number 1 at their 55-13 win against Plattsmouth. We talked about at the beginning of the year, like Broxton Tepley, and what the potential for him to continue improving, what that could do for their offense.
Be consistent, yeah.
And he's starting to get really prolific. They're airing it out more and more, kind of sharing some tread on Nathan Axman's tires there. 12 of 17 for 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks for Tepley. Like that'll play. That'll help them win a state title there in Class B. Axman, 16 carries, 160 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Also 4 catches for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. So nearly 200 yards from scrimmage again for him, and 4 touchdowns. So just another day at the office for Axman.
And they've kind of he's rested up. I guess. So
they haven't needed the 30 carry weeks for him recently. Zach McElhouse, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns, 68 yards, and Felix Major had a 65-yard pick six, and Gavin Ruskin blocked a punt as well. So Waverly again firing on all cylinders. They're looking really good here as they head into a big matchup this week because number 2 is Norris.
Yep. After
a 45-0 win over Beatrice, Evan Greenfield, 12 of 17 for 217 yards and 5 touchdowns and a 44-yard field goal. And Marcus Nelson, 5 carries, 138 yards and a touchdown. Seems that to be at back to full strength for him. And Greenfield spread the ball around, 2 touchdowns to CJ to Junior Gardner, 1 for Dallas Washington, 1 for Alex Small, and 1 for Caden Ganna. So really spread that ball around there. They got a lot of weapons. And so that sets up 1 versus 2. Norris and Waverly this Friday.
This game they have been looking forward to this game for a very long time.
Yes.
Like since the beginning of it, since before the season they have. And then
as Norris has continued to they're for real. This has a chance to.
It was like week 4 after both teams were 4-0. So a month ago, I was at the volleyball game between those two, and
they're already talking about it.
And both of the student sections, people that were in the gym, both schools were like, "Oh, week 8, and I'm like, man, you got to get there first. But I know what you're saying. It's
they got there.
It is a rivalry too. There's a lot there, and I will say this about both coaches. There's very much so great guys. Yeah. There isn't a hate. It's just a school rivalry thing.
It's
a high school rivalry.
And the only 2 undefeated teams in Class B going head to head.
And there isn't any bad blood there at all.
Just standard, good old fashioned high school rivalry stuff.
Yes.
Big one on Friday. We will have coverage there.
Not sure who yet. Yeah. We're definitely going to have people there.
Yes. And new number 3 is Skutt Catholic after taking down previous number 1, Elkhorn North, 28-19. And let's tag in our intrepid producer, Austin, who was there on the scene. So What was the story of this game, Austin?
It was all defense, really, is what it felt like. I mean, it was a 28-19 final, so it felt like there was some explosive moments, but nonetheless, it was Elkhorn North. I mean, I know they gave up the 4 touchdowns, but that linebacking group is phenomenal.
They're amazing.
They're so good. And I know you've talked about it before, Mike, but watching them in person, the way that they not only just like fit gaps, but their impact on the game too, the way that they leave an impression, Ethan Sutko is phenomenal. And he might not be the best Sutko in the Metro this year, but next year he probably will be. He was phenomenal. I had him for like 5 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. I don't know what the final stat book would have him for. But really, this was a day that was meant for Skutt Catholic to come from behind. They got down early. Beachy was making some big throws for Elkhorn North, but I was very impressed with the Skyhawks. They found a way to get back in the game when there were opportunities for turnovers. They made the plays. And then after that, I mean, it felt like Skutt Catholic just squeezed Elkhorn North into bad situations, and that's where they had the most success, was forcing 3 turnovers, scoring off of one of them, and getting the last one late before Elkhorn North could close it to a one-score game. So pretty impressive stuff nonetheless. I do think that if Skutt is going to want to get to that next notch to take down Norris and try to, get a redo of their week 1 loss, or Waverly, whoever they would match up with, and maybe a semifinal, quarterfinal, however it would kind of shake out, it's going to come down to if they can extend those long drives throughout the game. It's going to be a tough part of it too, because they're pretty solid and balanced on offense, but when it comes down to just we need a guy, we need a play, Wyatt Liebentritt made the game-winning play this time, but I don't know if they can have that all 4 quarters right now, but I guess we'll wait to see, because they're going to do it again on Friday with Bennington.
Because they're relying pretty heavily on Connor Mogensen in both pass and the run game. He shoulders a heavy load for them, but they got some dudes. And Liebentritt, monster game, 2 picks. He was our big game chain player, player of the game there.
Ended with 2 picks. He had the final game-sealing rushing touchdown and an end-around, which Skutt loved that end-around, which if you get linebackers that are as good as Elkhorn North and they're going the wrong way, you got to get them going a different direction. But they have the weapons. It's just a matter of being able to know who's going to be able to step up or who needs the ball in what situation. So I'm fascinated by Skutt, especially after I didn't personally write them off, but it felt like we kind of took a mental, everyone took the mental break when you lose 49-3 or whatever it was, but it was pretty impressive to see the way that they turned out there on Friday.
I will say this, that was all week 1. You're breaking a new quarterback, there's a lot of newness there, and like that score.
They've come a long way.
But that score also probably wasn't indicative of.
But I'll say this too. Obviously, we saw them a couple of weeks ago when they played at Elkhorn, or I did at least. I thought it was interesting how their season has changed just inside the walls, because even when they lost their first week, it felt like they kind of didn't go back in their shell, but they just got back to getting back to work, and then they made their way through there, right? Because when we talked to him Elkhorn a couple weeks ago, it was about, we know we're getting better, but we're not there yet. When I talked to Wyatt and watching how the team celebrated that Friday night, Wyatt even said, we're not going to lose again. And I think that they feel the utmost confidence, and you should after beating the number 1 team, but I think there's something about it that they are playing at their highest power right now, and if they can keep that trend going, I'm not sure that any of the teams in B can keep up.
They went back a little more to the veer stuff too, with the quarterback run game. So that's that's what Skutt used to do forever, and then we had last year with Dylan Van Dyke throwing the ball to Joke Lee all over the place.
Smart too.
You just switch it up, man. Get those guys.
But Skutt, 6 straight wins now, up to number 3. They got Bennington on Friday. So again,
big game.
Class B there's some ridiculous matchups this week as well, and like we talked about down the stretch, monster matchups with all these district games.
We haven't got to it yet, but Gretna East plays Elkhorn North too. That's a huge game. There's 3 just massive games.
So for Elkhorn North, they rely so heavily on Beach, and we have seen some moments where maybe thrown some picks, maybe not lower completion percentage than you'd like to see, because they don't really have a running back this year that they can lean on like they did with Jet Tinglehoff last year. So that's kind of the question. Like, maybe
you want to force him to throw.
And like they got some good weapons there, and he's a really good quarterback, but kind of the lack of balance. We wondered, would that hurt them at some point? Their defense has been good enough that it hasn't mattered, but when you turn it over 3 times, I think at least one of those, Austin saying, led to a score. Skutt got some short fields, so like that's you need to play complementary football to be like when you look at we talk about Waverly, talk about Norris, talk about these top teams and be how complete they are. That's Elkhorn North, rightfully number one for a lot of the stretch of the season, but there were some things where you say, okay, you've got some things to work on, and now they'll have a chance to work on those things against some more talented teams to close out the season. But a bright spot was Drew Meyer, sophomore, 4 catches, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. Really nice touchdown early on. Like, he's got a chance to be a really good player for them.
He's good. Yeah.
You mentioned Elkhorn North. They get Gretna East. Skutt gets Bennington. Bennington is at number 4 after a 49-7 win at Elkhorn. Ty Buafkeo, 7-9 for 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 carries, 77 yards and a touchdown.
I was there for the first half of that one.
Yeah.
And I left at halftime because
you saw enough.
Yeah. It was time. He stepped out on a play, Ty Buafkeo did. He pulled it down, ran. He stepped out of bounds. He trucked it. I'm saying
that dude's he's not afraid.
Shoulder lowered, kid went flying. He stood up. I need to actually share the video. I still have the video. I need to share it because he just lowered the boom on this guy.
Chose violence.
Yeah.
Will Goods 12 for 142, 3 touchdowns. Miles Gifford had a 42-yard pick six. So again, another complete performance for Bennington, who will get Skutt, like I mentioned on Friday. So that's 3 versus 4, Skutt. So we have 1 versus 2 in Waverly and Norris. We have 3 versus 4 in Skutt and Bennington. And then we got 5 versus 6 because Gretna East is at 6. They're 6-1 now after 37-10 win.
This is like that.
Against Ralston.
This is that. Gretna East, all right, man, we're here. If they can get this game done, if they can win, that'd be a huge feather, right? It's kind of one of those, if they can get it, then it's all right, we're in that top echelon.
Yep. Chase Grow, 129 yards and a touchdown passing, 71 yards and a touchdown rushing. Connor Sams, 19 for 169 and 3 scores.
Also good to see Chase Grow back.
Yeah.
Missed some time earlier. So.
Yep. They did have 3 turnovers between them, so that's something they'll have to clean up in this next one because you cannot give the ball away against Elkhorn North and that fierce defense. But, so it's going to be a ridiculous week in Class B. There's another matchup we'll get to at the bottom of the rankings as well, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've never seen something like that where it's lined up that well. So I'm looking forward to it. I think I may go to that Gretna East game.
Can only be in one place, which sucks. This is one of those times where, sometimes they do first-round playoffs where, there's a game at noon, and then there's a game at 2, and then a 4 and a 7. That would be awesome.
Well, so many games on Friday, and there's also Creighton basketball exhibition. Nebraska football is on the road at Minnesota. Stupid Friday game. Nebraska volleyball is on the road. All that. Plus, there's 5 games Friday night that are ridiculously good. So, I'm going to be sitting there at CHI on Friday with head.
There's more. There's actually more than 5 if you look farther down.
Exactly.
Howells, Dodge, Archangels is one. Anyway.
Yeah. So ridiculous week here as we approach the end of the season, but at 7 is Seward after a 42-7 win against Blair. And man, so we talked about Seward had a chance to be really good with quarterback, receiver coming back, and obviously losing Treston Haas before the season.
Still pretty good.
Injury. Well, they've completely transformed themselves. Peyton Ellis, the season that he's had. 16 carries for 248 yards and 2 touchdowns, plus converted a 2-point try. So they've morphed into from a team that had a chance to really air it out with a really talented quarterback wide receiver duo, and Jack Vinolik's still there and a big piece for them. But you've got Ellis shouldering the load, and now they've become a big time running team, and he's the one leading the way there. So he's had a fantastic season. Kason Sawyer, 7-9, 97 yards, 3 touchdowns. So pretty good efficient there. 7 completions, 3 touchdowns. Jack Vinolik, 3 catches, 2 touchdowns. Also had a 67-yard punt return touchdown. So a pretty good day for him. So Seward gets York on Friday. At 8 is Gretna, 49-0 against Platteview. And Gretna gets Ralston on Friday. And then here. down at the bottom, we've got 9 versus 10 this week. Scottsbluff 42-0 against Hastings. Nate Kelly 3 rushing touchdowns, a 45-yard passing touchdown to George Small. Jordan McCarty, Danny Young both had rushing touchdowns, and Dylan Propp had 15 tackles, including 3.5 for loss, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. And for McCook, 42-0 against Ogallala. Trenton Rail, 10-14 for 161 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tristan Campbell, only 13 carries, 58 yards, 2 touchdowns, but also 5 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown, plus 5 tackles on defense. And Miles Pullman had 5 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown, plus they had 3 interceptions, including a 40-yard pick 6 by Trey Tiller. So that sets up, again, Scottsbluff and McCook at McCook on Friday night.
Wyland Field's going to be banging on Friday night in McCook. Such a tough place to play. I've said this for years.
Stop bringing up McCook.
It is going to be, though. Like,
Yeah.
it is. That place is going to be.
I'm actively choosing not to go, and people keep tagging me in chat trying to get me to go, and I'm not going.
Place is going to be rocking.
So again, to reiterate, as we close out B here, 1 versus 2, 3 versus 4, 5 versus 6, and 9 versus 10 are our matchups this week. So this is the week that we've kind of been building to. This is a fantastic week of high school football in Class B. In C1, C2, both pretty light weeks, not a ton of super interesting results.
C1 just stayed the same.
We've got, I guess, the only really ranked matchup is Wahoo and Fort Calhoun, right?
Yeah.
1 versus 10s, but, I mean, we talked about Wahoo. In C2, we've got Bishop Newman against Lincoln Lutheran on Friday. That's 5 versus 9. Mm-hmm. And then Boone Central against Grant Island Central Catholic. That is 4 versus 8. So, again, we talked about all the ranked-on-ranked matchups this week. That's how many are we up to now? Just going through all the 11-man classes before we even get to anything. The big result there in D1 is Crofton 50, Wausa-Osmond 12.
Yeah, that's because Wausa-Osmond was
undefeated. Yeah. So Crofton jumped from 7 to 4, and Wausa-Osmond dropped from 4 to 8 with the loss. That's 8-man. Anything else?
The last week of 8-man football is this week.
It is.
The last regular season week. And the big game, I mentioned it before, but Howells Dodge and Archangels, big-time game.
Big one.
Really big.
Other big ones in 8-man, 2 last week. Bridgeport and Hemmingford, 9 and 10 panhandle teams. I know, JP, your internet doesn't go that far out, but Bridgeport came back from 20 points down to score 30 unanswered to win that one, so pretty impressive in that regard. Anselmo Myrna just somehow keep staying alive. They are always behind in every game and then end up winning by double digits, and they beat Twin Loop again, so they're a team to watch out for as well. Central Valley is always going to be very good. And then
Sandhills Thedford gave Mullen their first loss.
Yes, also a big one. And then the big one in 6-man was Stewart and Hampton. Yeah. That was a 2 p.m. game on Friday. Hampton couldn't keep up with the horses of Stanton, but Stewart, sorry, correction. Thank you, Mike. But Hampton will be having a basically final send-off for their football program on Friday.
It's going to be H&H, Heartland, and
so they're consolidating after the season. The entire school and all of the activities so far are all consolidated except for football. Right. So it's the last and final Hampton football and Hampton athletics. So kind of a cool setup that they're going to have there. So hopefully we can get some good photos and stuff for what's happening out there on October 17th.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the Howells Dodge Archangels game is big time. Like, that one's a big time game. That's the third time I've
that is 2 versus 5 in our poll this week.
Yeah, and 8-man 2, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Ravenna keeps winning.
Ravenna does keep winning.
They keep winning. Kind of like Syracuse keeps winning. Yep.
All right, let's close out with some shout-outs. I know I always start with Kit Brigham.
Yeah.
It's a light week for him. Only 146 yards and 4 touchdowns this week for Brigham. He had a long of 24. Didn't break off any long ones this week. So I guess shout out to Logan View, Scribner Snyder. They got shut out 42-0, but they kept Brigham in check more than anybody else has this week.
It's also kind of one of those, like, just kind of, just not.
Yeah. He carried it 17 times. So.
Yeah.
Moving on. Derek Tonjes, Ashland Greenwood Senior, 19 and 26 for 338 yards and 2 touchdowns, plus 2 carries for 21 yards and a touchdown in a 35-0 win at Roncalli. And I know Roncalli's dealing with a lot of injuries, like down their quarterback and multiple spots. So just a tough season for the Crimson Pride. But Tonjes' top receiver was Cal Kissinger, who caught 6 passes for 154 yards. 154 yards and a touchdown. Shadron Senior Lane Davidson, 18 carries for 170 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus 10 tackles and a fumble recovery on defense in a 41-0 win against Alliance. Donphan Trouble again popping up. Senior Parker Volk, 23 of 33 for 315 yards and 6 touchdowns. Also 10 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown and 4 tackles in a 62-28 win at Fillmore Central. 7 touchdowns from one guy. Jack Poppy, 9 catches for 103 yards and 3 touchdowns. He now has 200 receptions for his career for 2,484 yards and 35 touchdowns. Fantastic career rolling on there, moving up the record charts there. That is a tough combination there with Volk and Poppy, and they got some other receivers too around him to keep teams honest. But Valentine Jr., Tristan Bebout, 6 of 17, so it threw for 114 yards and a touchdown. Also ran it for 24 times for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and 17 tackles, including 10 solo, with 2 tackles for a loss on defense in a 30-28 win against Amherst. So they needed every bit of that performance to get that win. Superior Senior Kyler Boyles came out with 26 carries for 201 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus 7 tackles and a tackle for loss on defense in a 34-14 win against Hastings St. Cecilia. And finally, Lincoln Lutheran Senior Henry Prokop, 21 of 26 for 264 yards and 5 touchdowns, plus 10 carries for 86 yards and 8 tackles in a 34-10 win at Palmyra. And his top receiver was senior Trenton Ernst, 15 catches for 188 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus 5 tackles. So Prokop certainly knew where to go with the ball in that one.
Wow. It's impressive. All right, that'll do it for Nebraska Preps postgame this week.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.